My Little Pony, Season 9, Episode 15. 2, 4, 6. Great.
This episode was cute.
You just like the cheerleading costumes.
Oh my.
He's jealous. He wants one for himself.
He does.
I look like so damn sexy in one of those.
They're not miracle workers.
Oh, well, and I fully expect to see, like, those show up at a con, like people in those costumes. I fully
I
expect
wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. The next con that's available. People, because they're not
Ponyville
that, they don't
Cider
look like,
Fest.
they're not that complicated, so I imagine it wouldn't be too difficult to make them.
Dude, like, last year at Chicago TARDIS, they literally, the week before the episode Kablam came out, and
Yeah.
at the con they had people dressed in Kablam costumes.
Good grief.
You know, the one with the...
Yeah,
I mean,
the
it was
robot.
super easy. It was just a freaking like vest, one of those security vests or whatever, and some bubble wrap. And basically, they just had to print out the box covers. So,
Well,
I wouldn't
and
doubt it.
yeah. I've no experience with sewing, but I imagine those are pretty, cheerleading outfits are pretty
Dude, you
easy.
could get those almost anywhere.
Yeah, they're probably pretty. You can probably almost get them off the rack and just add a couple little things to them, and that would be it.
You don't even need to add things to some of them.
Like, they would be pretty much what they had on there already.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I fully expect to see the next con, to see a few of those pop up when you see pictures from that con.
Ponyville Cider Fest is right around the corner. It's in October.
So, Celestia wants a Scholastic Book Ball League from her School of Unicorns.
Well, she found a way to make them a little less horny.
Well, she figured out how to do the magic dampener and the wings and whatnot. And it's like,
well, the wings they've had. That
we've already had that.
3?
Imagine
Which is funny because that's sort of two references to the episode Sonic Rainboom in this episode, because you have the throwback to the sort of butterfly wings that Rarity had, and also we have Rainbow Dash teaching somebody to cheer.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a double Sonic Rainboom. And that joke died.
Why wouldn't she be able to teach people to cheer? She's always cheering for her teams. She's always in the sideline cheering, like when she's the viewer. You know, when she's the spectator, she's always super eager to cheer them on.
Oh, what she should have done is just found her parents.
Yeah.
Well, they would be excellent at it. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also find out that Celestia is a bit of a jock with wavy hair. Like, that makes so much sense with Luna, with their relationship with Luna. It's like, she's the outdoorsy jock type. Outdoorsy jock extrovert. And Luna is sort of the
gamer nerd.
Yeah, well, as close as we don't. She's never actually seen her play a video game, but that is a common way of showing her.
But I mean, just the general.
Yeah, the general type, introverted, sort of, not very outdoorsy, and would rather be, probably rather be watching a show like Well, like they did on the trip, going and seeing a play, like, which she does a couple times, which seems like that would be it's indoors, it's clean, and
I
it's
would love to see her join a game of O&O.
Huzzah! We have rolled a natural 20.
Are you sure you're not cheating? I am a princess. How dare you? We do not cheat. Except for Celestia. She's always cheating.
No, no, fine.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm just adjusting the moon a little bit. Are you using the gravity of the moon to affect the dice roll? No. It's not a loaded dice. It's a very specific
Moon
defense
dice.
there. Like, I'm not moving the dice with my magic. I'm not directly moving the dice with my magic. So you're doing it indirectly. No, you're not using the moon to affect the dice, are you? No. Though that, the amount of messing around she'd have to do with the moon to get it to affect a dice roll would be far more noticeable. Probably far more noticeable than actually just straight up cheating.
Yes, I made it land on 6. Everybody else, the tidal waves are coming!
Yeah, there would be. Huzzah! Another natural 20. Right. Convenient that Twilight happens to have the first and only Buckball Hall of Famers on call.
Yeah, but they still lost.
Yeah. But, which also is a bit weird because you'd think, okay, so the unicorn with the wings, like, they've had them for 2 weeks. Assuming they got them during practice, like, they had somebody who would gift them during practice so that they could practice with them. Like, you've had yours for 2 weeks. Like, this Pegasus has had their wings all their life, and you still managed to lose. Okay.
Well, I mean, it depends on how much time they had to practice. Because they specified that the contest was in 2 weeks. That doesn't mean that they weren't already playing before that.
Yeah. Suppose there's that, but yeah, it seems like you have an expert in flying versus somebody who's only been doing it for a little bit. But anyway, Twilight wants Dash to teach the cheer squad, and as I mentioned before, she did coach Fluttershy and rooting for her on the Sonic Rainboom episode. Twilight is still convinced that Dash will be a good coach, despite her reservations. And there's one thing I do kind of love about this episode, is towards the end, like, the moral of today's story is, sort of thing, it's very Celestia. Like, the way she deals with Dash at the end of the episode is very Celestia. It's like, wow, Rainbow Dash, it's almost like you were the perfect pony to coach Cheer Squad after all. Wait a second, was this one of those things that you knew the lesson I needed to learn before I learned it? You mean like how you don't have to care about a thing other ponies like as long as you care about the ponies who like it? Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Ugh. And then Celestia does a nicely done. It's like, oh, you two are becoming peas in a pod.
And also, Dashi, that I am your god, and if you disobey me, I will destroy you.
So, Snips volunteers as her assistant coach, so that if the team does well, he could sell merchandising. He took lessons from Yogurt.
kid. You should be in school.
Well, I mean, if the students are practicing, it's probably after school anyway. So I wouldn't imagine the School of Friendship and the normal little cheerleading school are, you know, have vastly different schedules.
Yeah.
So they're both, it's both probably after school. Um, but yeah, he took lessons from yogurt. Spaceballs reference for those who are unaware. Um,
I have a shirt that says Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money.
Again, merchandising. So we get Shimmy Shake and Light Hoof, and they're actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
While making an SNL reference with their uniforms.
I don't watch Saturday Night Live.
Oh, it's back from when Will Ferrell was on the show. They had
I literally, the only time I've ever seen Saturday Night Live was YouTube clip of the time that they made the Harry Potter reference. That was literally the only Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live I've ever seen.
Oh, I haven't watched it in I couldn't tell you the last time, but it was one of their bits they had was that uniform was basically it was that with Spartans written across it, and Will Ferrell was in it. I don't remember who else was it. There was someone with him in that skit, and that was what they did. That was a repeated skit, but that's what that was a reference. Yona want to try and make Pony Pyramid. So listen,
That
I thought this
painful.
it does sound like, when it's coming from a non-pony, it does sound like if she put that into an aggressive speech, it sounds like she wants to stack some skulls. So listen, I thought this could be my chance to make an impression on every pony, for something other than changing shape. Dash, I didn't realize you were into school spirit, Smolder. I just came with these two. Guess they think you could make Cheer Squad cool or something. Dash, don't count on it. Which, that feeds into what she says later. It's like, I did it because you usually make things cool. No matter what you're doing, you always make it awesome. So, it's like, that wasn't necessarily Yona and Nacella's. That was Smolder saying what you really thinks, but, but sort of puppeting it into Yona Nacella so she doesn't actually have to admit she's into something. Because admitting that you're actually excited about something makes you uncool for some reason.
It doesn't make you uncool, it makes you a nerd. And nerds are uncool.
No, it makes you a geek.
Yeah.
It depends on what it is.
But either way, it's, unbridled enthusiasm about something like that is, yes, that's sometimes defined as sort of nerdy, but that's okay.
Talk nerdy to me.
Which brings up the question with these three brought in, where's Silverstream?
Yeah, I guess she didn't care about cheerleading.
Yeah, but it
You
just seems
kidding?
like
She's excited about everything.
yeah, you could have a brick and she'd be like, oh, that's a brick. She's excited by everything.
She's like a giant sentient Labrador.
And maybe the voice actress was sick.
No, it would be written because they would have probably made this. I can't imagine that she was sick. It was probably just that maybe they each one served a purpose or something, like overcoming something, whereas Silverstream wouldn't have really been overcoming something, and it might have gotten in the way of, like, she might have been able to bring them together or something.
Probably her and that pony dude were on a date.
The what?
What?
Or the
You
pony
mean
one.
Sandbar?
Yeah.
I
No,
think it's
Sandbar has a thing
more.
for Yuna.
Yeah, it's Sandbar and Yona.
Well,
She'd be with
Sandbar.
Gallus.
Sandbar doesn't have to stick to one sexy female.
Yeah, but he seems like the kind of guy who would.
Yeah, true.
But if Silverstream, went and got Gallus into like, hey, let's go do something together. That seems like he would. He seems like the reticent type that would still have a lot of fun after he's not worried about people noticing that he's excited about something. So he could keep his cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dash is
I wear a
completely
bow tie now. Bow ties are cool.
yeah. Dash is completely lost when it comes to cheerleading. She has zero interest if it isn't sports.
Sports, go sports.
Yay, sports, go.
And
Athletics are number one.
yeah, animation-wise, they literally put her on a pedestal in one of the upper windows. It's almost literally a pedestal by putting her up in the window, looking out at the field. The initial run is chaos. Yona stomps and throws everyone around. Ocellus can't get above a whisper, and Smolder is uninterested in saying the cheers, but is interested in blowing huge smoke clouds.
I call that great.
Yeah.
That sounds like a normal Friday night for Madrak there.
Add sparkles and yeah.
Dash walks out on them. Snails calls her out on it. He also holds her back by her tail. I doubt she likes it when AJ does it, which she does it a surprisingly often amount, I think. Much less Snails doing it. It's like, it's bad enough when AJ does this. What are you doing?
Only my lover can do that to me.
Well...
No.
Well,
Those two are definitely dating.
No.
Shipping. Snails is teaching
Ace
Keeper...
J.
What?
I said Ace J.
Oh, okay, that thing. Snails is teaching Keeper class, but only one of 3 of his students is a unicorn, which that may have just been a animation error. I didn't check to see whether those 3 show up as the team later, and they have they're different pony races later. Anyway, Dash sort of fed up with everything. Just I'll get uniforms and other things for them. It's the cannon from Pinky, the hay bales from Applejack, the uniforms from Rarity, and Zakura wasn't as helpful as you might think, so she went to the library and got a rhyming dictionary.
I love before that though. She's like, okay, here, put these blindfolds on so I can sneak away.
But let's see. After they nag her about it in a brief stint with Snails, they have a brief stint with Snails' meditation training. She just can't get invested. The first practice run was a complete failure, and Dash doesn't really care. And she makes Yona cry, which is unforgivable.
I know.
Nobody make Yona cry, except tears of joy.
Or onions.
Then you smash onions for making. You cut them.
Yeah, but that just makes her cry more.
Then smash onion more. Smash onion till no more cry.
Bit counterintuitive there, boo.
We're following yak logic. It's best logic.
Yes.
Um, Dash. Whoa, ponies might actually care about about Cheer Squad if she cared like that all the time. Smolder. Why would you say ponies don't care about Cheer Squad? Dash. Because they don't. Smolder. No, you don't, but they do. I bet Haired Mare Twilight does. You know what? I do too. I actually got excited when I found out you were going to be our coach. I figured if any pony can make Cheer Squad awesome, it's you. Dash. Me? Why? Smolder, because everything is always awesome with you, or 20% cooler, or whatever. You're the most enthusiastic pony in Equestria when it's something you care about. I just wish we were one of those things, which that hits Rainbow Dash where she lives. She's element of loyalty and whatnot, so
Damn, I was an ass.
yeah, that really hit her where she lives. Okay, I'm being very disloyal to these kids. They're expecting something of me, and that really that turned on her, and so she starts putting effort in, because she realizes she cares about the kids, even if she doesn't really care about cheering. She gets Yona in a predictable rhythm, gets Acellus the megaphone, and coordinates Smolder's smoke. Which Acellus eventually, I guess she worked on her confidence too, because in that time frame, because she also doesn't really need it by the time she gets to actually get to the cheer. The friendship school loses to a team. Celestia worked on the magic dampening ring and wings to help even the playing field. The friendship school loses to a team that is a flyer that has only been flying for a couple of weeks or so. But yeah, and then we have what I started out saying at the beginning. It's like, wow, Dash. It's, almost like you're the perfect pony to coach Cheer Squad after all. Which Twilight is now becoming more her mentor every day. Wise, but ever so slightly trolly.
Mhm.
And that's the end of the notes.
And
Um,
can I just mention, damn, Celestia, you should get in the game.
oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of covered under she's a jock.
Yep.
Damn, I forget what she screamed.
Yeah, I forget what it was exactly, too, but she definitely Royal Canterlot voiced that thing. It's like, you just see everybody sort of turn and go, ooh.
She, if you felt this, I'll expel you from school.
Yeah, she does seem like one of those types that's nice and prim and proper on the outside, but she is just brutally competitive just under the surface. She
Scrooge
lets that
McDuck.
mask slip for even a second. He's like, "You better do."
The real reason Luna got sent to the moon, Celestia lost to a coin toss and got mad.
or Luna wanted to play chess, and so she's like, "Ding, ding, ding," and she won, and Celestia's like, "To the moon."
To the moon!
But yeah, I mean,
It puts into perspective all those "I love you to the moon and back" posters.
but yeah, she was. It was an interesting episode, a bit simpler than usual lately. Like the shows this season have been a bit more simple.
It
Like
was nice still.
not as complex, but that's not to say that they're bad. It's just a little less complex. And um
They're saving all the complexity for their Grover battle. I mean Grogar battle.
but yeah, the big thing that sort of like all the stuff is fun and whatnot. How much you like this episode is how much you think this fits Dash's character, because it
Yeah.
does feel more like a season one Dash. But it but maybe, yeah, it might be that sort of thing. where she still has that little flaw to go through.
Oh, one that I wanted to add was when they're doing the actual good cheer and they're stomping around. I kept on getting a "We Will Rock You" vibe.
Oh,
Like,
I completely expect if there's another one of those, I forgot what it's called, but there's a Ponies the Anthology. If there's another Ponies the
oh,
Anthology,
oh,
I
there
fully
was
expect there to be a "We Will Rock You"
there was
segment.
a new. Well, I mean, there was a new one recently, but it was before this episode, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I must have missed it. I haven't been keeping up with that,
Mm.
but yeah, I expect the next. If there's another Ponies the Anthology, I fully expect that to be one of them. It's just we will rock you, but with ponies stomping, because you actually have them doing something in time in a stadium. Dum, dum, sh.
That cheer thing with all the ponies just stomping, that was cute.
Yona best rhythm.
But is she best blues?
Oh, also yaks no like loud noises. Which, given their propensity to be both as strong as they are and as skittish as they can be, well, not skittish, but like surprise. What would happen if you did surprise a yak? The sort of damage that could happen if you did surprise a yak. Loud noises are probably not a good thing.
Well,
Also avalanches. So there's probably a
yeah.
lot of good reasons yak don't like sudden loud noises. Avalanches, you're dealing with a much stronger sort of uh, species in general, and so loud sudden noises cause damage to surroundings, one way or the other, by yak or by avalanche. But it was a fun little episode. Um, again,
Two,
if this
four.
was season one, it might have been a CMC episode.
Yeah.
I think if this could have been written for season one, just a few switches around, and it's the CMC doing it. Though that doesn't really work with Buckball given Scootaloo's situation.
Uh,
Well, she
no,
would be
she can
cheering,
get
not playing
butterfly
Buckball, so that's
wings.
a different thing. So, but they did actually have a whole. They did actually kind of do that to an extent. I don't remember the episode very well, but there was an episode where they were doing that cheer to try and represent Ponyville at the games.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, hearts as strong as horses.
Yeah, well, that episode that's in where Scootaloo gets really, Diamond Tiara is a jerk, and Scootaloo gets a complex about her wings, or she makes it worse. Any final thoughts on this one?
Nope.
Okay.